You're listening to FreedomSlate08.com, the July 4th money bomb for congressional candidates nationwide. This is Kurt Wallace, your host of Wake Up America on BreakTheMatrix.com. We have with us today Richard Matthews, who is running for Congress in Maryland, 2nd Congressional District. His website is richardmatthews.org. Thanks for being with us today, Richard.
Thanks, Kurt. Thanks for having me.
Well, tell us about yourself.
A little about myself. I am currently 27, almost 28 years old. I am a computer security and networking engineer. I work for a company that specializes in high security messaging on mobile platforms. I am a new proud dad of a 2-week-old baby daughter, Anna Rose. My wife and I are very proud and live just south of Baltimore, Maryland. I was very active in the Ron Paul revolution, the Ron Paul effort in Maryland. Ran for delegate. Unfortunately, did not win. Did a couple other activities. Ran a meetup group, one of the most successful ones in Maryland, and spent a very, very long weekend in New Hampshire with 3 others from Maryland for the Ron Paul campaign.
Why did you decide to run for Congress?
Well, I'll be very honest. I went through the process in Maryland. Just to step back a second, you actually put yourself on the ballot to run for delegate. In Maryland, there were 3 Republican delegates and 3 alternate delegates that had to be organized for every congressional district. Myself and several others, including fellow candidate in another district, Collins Bailey, we organized the slate for Maryland for Ron Paul. I was the sub-organizer for District 2 in Maryland. I went down to the Board of Elections, put my name in, and I made sure that we had the spots filled for the other 5 positions. When I did that, I noted that actually there were no one running for Congress at the time, with the deadline rapidly approaching. And I will credit again Collins Bailey for encouraging me to run actually for Congress. When I looked at the incumbent's record a little bit further, I found that we had an incumbent Democrat who voted for the reauthorization of the Patriot Act. Not the first time it was around, no, the second time when we all knew what was in it, when we had time to read it. He voted for the reauthorization of it. Is the typical big spending Democrat, and also for the most part he is not voting to bring our troops home from Iraq. I couldn't bring myself to let someone like that go unopposed. He was unopposed as Democrat. So I threw my name in the hat, kind of reluctantly, but I'm enthusiastically running now. But I threw my name in the hat just because I didn't want to be one of those people complaining that no one challenged such an individual. So the last day of registration back in December, I threw my name in the hat to run as the Republican. I went unchallenged also, and we both went unchallenged, and here we are in the general election. Well,
it looks like you're going to be going up against a candidate that has quite a war chest of support and money.
Yeah, the last report had Dutch Ruppersberger with about $700,000. He's not the most nationally well-known Democrat on the Hill, but he is well-known in the local area. Is a good Democrat, falls in line, and he's raised about $700,000 so far. We do need assistance here. We need to run a credible campaign, professional campaign, and the better we do in this election, the better we show that we can raise funds, the stronger the Ron Paul revolution will be going forward, whether we win or not. Of course, the goal is to win, and I think we have the right set of issues to win in this district. However, we need to be able to communicate that with the electorate. Unfortunately, that does require funds. Now, I think we can be very effective with a sum smaller than $700,000, but we do need funds to buy yard signs, get radio ads. We have a little innovative campaign that we want to run in September. And I do have a campaign manager who's currently in a volunteer capacity, but he is ready to take a sabbatical from work when we can afford to keep a roof over his head. But yeah, unfortunately, campaigns do take money, and we are up against a big challenge here.
Well, when you are elected, what do you plan to do?
I want to control and put a cap on and stop the growth of the federal monster in D.C. One bill, let me step back, my kind of fire-in-the-belly passionate issue is tax reform. The current tax code, while of course it takes a lot of money out of our pockets, I believe, number one, is oppressive in our dignity and just provides way too much policy control in Washington. We essentially now have what we fought a Cold War against. We have a top-down management of our economy via the IRS and the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of pages of tax code. They can direct money here, there, take it away over there, and it's just not what America is about and capitalism is about, in my opinion. Of course, comprehensive tax reform is a huge undertaking, especially for one member of Congress. But what I think I can do is I can start chipping away at it. Just like Ron Paul's no taxes on tips, I would like to propose removal of taxes on veterans' pensions. Any member of the military who retired after 20 years or served an honorable discharge with an injury or a disability, and they receive a government pension, I don't believe we should tax that income. We currently do. These folks have served their country well, and I don't think that they need to continue paying taxes on that money. I think it's ridiculous. I'd like to do it in such a fashion that if a veteran's only income is their pension, they won't even have to fill out an IRS form. We'll just keep it that simple. You receive a pension, no IRS form. If they receive other income, then they would still have to do the IRS form, but they wouldn't have to include that income. So this is great for working families of veterans. Often a veteran will go in for his 20 years. He started when he was 20 years old, retires when he's 40, then goes works another job for 20 years, all while receiving that pension. And they have family concerns. Finally, their family is able to settle down because the veteran's not moving anymore. But this will take off the top, that higher rate taxes that they're paying, and they're only going to pay taxes on their current job. But that's something I think I can affect and, challenge other members of Congress to actually stand up and be against, which I can't imagine they would be.
Well, we want to thank you for being with us today, Richard. You can find out more about Richard Matthews by going to richardmatthews.org. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
You've been listening to freedomslate08.com, the home of the July 4th money bomb for all the congressional candidates nationwide. Thanks for listening. This is Kurt Wallace, your host of the Wake Up America show on breakthematrix.com.